The HomeTech podcast is supported by you. To find out more, go to HomeTech.fm/support.
This is the HomeTech podcast for Friday, December 21st. From Denver, Colorado, I'm Jason Griffin.
And from not-so-sunny Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
How you doing, Seth?
Good. Got some rain today, finally. So not a. All right. This is what we call a white winter, a white Christmas, right? Where it just floods.
Closest you get.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Closest you get.
What are you up to these days?
Well, just back in Denver here for a few days and getting ready to head down to Arizona to spend some time with my parents for Christmas. So that'll be a nice trip. And we've had quite a bit of travel this holiday season. So it's all fun. I really enjoy it, but definitely ready to get back to a more normal schedule. It's definitely takes its toll on you, but I can't complain. You know, holiday season's in full swing and we're having a good time.
Yeah, excellent. Well, when you're visiting, you're visiting the parents down there. There's one thing you got to do. You got to go to their TVs, and you got to turn off Auto Motion Plus, right?
Oh, that's already done.
Well,
I did that like 5 trips ago.
Just make sure it doesn't get reset, because sometimes you never know.
The feature that keeps on giving.
Yeah. So you and then you can just say your house is Tom Cruise approved.
Indeed.
Once you do that. So I don't know if you saw this thing, but a couple of weeks ago, we haven't done a show in a while, but a couple of weeks ago, I saved this, and Tom Cruise was going around telling everybody to turn off motion smoothing on their TVs. And they made like this official looking video, right? Like it's the most crazy, odd. Well, I would say it's almost the second most crazy odd thing Tom Cruise has ever done.
That's saying something for Tom. On Twitter, it's got 24,000 retweets, and it's sort of like a PSA, and it's him and I forget the guy's name on his left there. It's a director or producer. Forgive me for not knowing that, but they're very, very serious, and they're talking about the endemic problem that is Auto Motion Plus or whatever the other manufacturers call it. And I got a kick out of this. It's good to see some Hollywood people using their platform for such an important cause.
Right. Yes. Make sure you do. You know, and I was in a hotel room and it had that stupid thing turned on. And it's like, if I'm staying at a hotel, like, you know, the lights, if they're 5K, I'm out. But if there's Auto Motion turned on the TV, I'll figure that out and turn it off, because I'm not living with that. But
yeah, you're not changing light bulbs though.
No, I'm not changing light bulbs. But the TV, I will do my duty as a home technologist. I will turn off that stupid Auto Motion Plus every time. So if you stay in the room after me, you're welcome. You're welcome.
It's sort of like if you go to a coffee shop and you buy a stranger a cup of coffee as a random act of kindness.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're doing.
Pass it on.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. That's what it is.
Right.
I couldn't remember the name of that movie. Yeah, pay it forward.
Well, what do you say you want to jump into a few home tech headlines here?
Let's do it. Smart home camera maker Lighthouse AI is calling it a day. They're turning off the lights. The news, first reported by The Information, has since been confirmed by CEO Alex Teichman. He's quoted, "I am incredibly proud of the groundbreaking work that the Lighthouse team accomplished. Unfortunately, we did not achieve the commercial success we were looking for and will be shutting down operations in the near future." Teichman, it's a nice name, Jason, thanks.
You get the hard one this week.
Promises the company will provide refund details to those customers who have already bought into the product. Unfortunate. We've seen it. Unfortunate. Like last week was kind of the first time I'd heard of this company. We were talking on our fireside chat. Rose Thibodeau brought it up, and I went and checked out their website. And I'm like, oh, this is a cool product, and it's gone.
That's how it works, man. You got to move quick.
You got to move fast.
Speaking of products disappearing, Lowe's, the giant home improvement retailer, is giving up on the smart home market. The company, which has more than 2,000 locations, recently announced plans to exit the home automation market and is seeking a buyer for its Iris smart home business as part of a, quote, strategic reassessment. So kind of a bummer to see that. We hadn't heard a lot from them in recent times, but I know when they first came out, they actually looked like they might have a fairly compelling offering, but it looks like they are not pursuing that anymore, and it will be interesting to see if somebody moves in and picks up that technology.
I think so. That's ripe for purchase because it's like there's a decent ecosystem there.
Yep.
But it's just not for Lowe's is kind of what they were saying. It's like, we're just going to let this go off and do its own thing. And it's not going to be part of our initiative anymore, which is interesting. Hopefully somebody will pick them up and keep moving them forward. Maybe the next company we'll talk about, Office Depot, is the latest to enter the smart home fray after announcing that it is now a certified installation partner for Google and Nest through its new Workonomy Tech Services division. As a Nest Pro partner, the company can install a single device or integrate several smart devices, creating a secure, integrated smart home or office. Google will provide Office Depot's tech experts with, quote, exclusive training, tools, and live VIP support, ensuring that every Office Depot customer gets their smart home or office service from the best trained professionals. Interesting.
Yeah, that one is interesting. I had to look up that Workonomy group. It's sort of like their version of Geek Squad, I guess.
Yeah, Geek Squad, yeah.
Also, on a side note, Greg in the chat room mentioned that Lowe's here, where Greg's up in Canada, just started offering smart home installation services. So
everybody getting in on the game.
Yeah, interesting. They're exiting the hardware business, but still appear to have some interest in the space. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Thanks for the heads up on that, Greg. Moving on, Apple Music subscribers will have a new way to listen to music soon. Amazon has announced that Apple Music will be available on Echo devices next month, beginning the week of December 17th. So it's actually a couple of weeks old, and as we're recording here, this should be available now. Once the feature rolls out, users will be able to ask Alexa on Echo devices to play songs, artists, and albums from Apple Music after pairing their account to the Alexa mobile app. Subscribers can also ask Alexa to play curated playlists and radio stations, including Apple Beats One station.
I think this is a super important story that kind of gets lost in the details. But Apple putting their music service on Amazon and actually admitting that the Echo exists and that Alexa is a thing, like, that's not something Apple has done for the past couple of years, right?
Yeah.
This is really, really a strange time. So, I mean, they've been talking about being a service company moving forward. I think this is what it's going to look like. And maybe the Apple TV, I mean, that was one of my things we were talking about on the show, on the Fireside Chat, was that, maybe we'll see Apple TV on Alexa device, or not Alexa, but the Fire TVs and that kind of thing. It would be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Indeed.
Speaking of video, as scheduled at 10 a.m. local time, December 1st, Japanese TV networks began publicly broadcasting 8K channels over satellite. Even after a couple of years testing, NHK is currently the only one pushing content at 8K with 22.2 channel surround sound. Wow, 22.2. Maybe could gone for the whole 24, guys. Let's see. The first movie listed in its TV guide is 2001: A Space Odyssey, and the BBC reports that Warner Brothers rescanned the film's original 70mm negative specifically for this broadcast. That's actually pretty cool. I think that's
crazy. Yeah. Crazy story. So won't be too much longer, and we'll be seeing 8K, and all of us 4K TV owners will feel behind the times again. Right. Wonderful.
Going to need an 8K TV. 16K is next.
Yeah. Moving on here, story near and dear to my heart. I, as you know, love these tactile control stories. Still think it's an underexplored space. Scenic, spelled SENIC, announced via their Twitter feed that their Numo control now works with Sonos. The Numo is an intuitive tactile control product that looks like a small aluminum disc and can be placed on just about any surface, including a wall. The control surface supports click, touch, swipe, and rotation gestures, has a 9x9 LED matrix display, and is priced at $299 bundled with a hub. And I know I had a chance to stop by their booth at CEDIA, and I have to say the build quality on this device felt really impressive. Definitely a heavy device. I think $299 is going to be a tough price point.
Steep, yeah.
For a lot of people, and I'll be curious to see if they're able to get penetration at that price point. But really neat product nonetheless. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, I was on their website earlier, and I'm like, I want one of these. And I clicked on buy now, and it was like, it's going to have to wait.
No,
going to wait.
Wait till they drop the price.
Yeah. Last week, Philips announced they would be fixing one of the most annoying features of the Hue product line. You know, the one where all of your stinking lights would turn on after a power outage. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
my. Regardless of whatever state they were in when you turn the power went off. So in the middle of the night, the power goes on, all of your Hue lights come back on. Insane. Version 3.11 of the Hue app now allows you to configure the lights to turn to the previous state when the power is interrupted. I think this is huge and probably about 6 years overdue for the Hue line. Thanks, Philips. You did it.
Wow. Yay. I had no idea that was a problem. And thankfully, don't have a lot of power outages here, but I know in a lot of areas that's not an uncommon occurrence. So I can see how that would get really annoying. And
the reason it is annoying is because like most people who install Philips light bulbs in their lights or their ceiling or whatever, they're having, they're not changing out the light switch. So they're leaving the light switch on all the time to keep the Philips Hue powered so they can use some other method of controlling it. So for those guys, that's a major issue.
And putting like duct tape over the switch so their spouse or partner or housekeeper doesn't, totally. Stepping backwards just for a moment here, Eric in the chat room, I think just coined a new term, Infini-K. And we don't have to worry about 4 or 8 or 16 or whatever comes after that. I like that.
To Infini-K and beyond. I just got back from watching movies, so yeah, that's great.
We got a show title there. Cool. Moving on here. This story, I gotta tee this up, is ridiculous. A class action lawsuit, Canary, filed against Canary. They are accused of pulling a bait and switch. In court documents, a group of consumers claim they purchased Canary devices that promised no additional fees other than the cost of buying the device. A change came in October of 2017 when several formerly free features required a monthly payment to access. That included the ability to watch previously recorded videos. Now, my question is, they say they were promised no additional fees. I don't know of any company that's ever promised me anything, so I'd be curious to see that. If indeed that is true, then that kind of changes the dynamic. But I got to believe that this is just a group of consumers that, bought these devices and they don't realize, like, all of these companies are trying to figure it out and establish strategies that keep them in business. And this class action suit to me is just totally ridiculous.
Yeah, it's bonkers. I mean, they still offer, like, you can still have 30-second video clips after motion being detected, like 1-day video history, 24/7 check-ins. Like, it still mostly works, and I think you can get 30 days of like your saved like footage, like things that have been in there. So but you have to pay $10 a month for some of those. I have a Canary. I used it for, believe it or not, my garage. But I find, actually, if anybody wants this Canary, reach out to me, feedback at HomeTech.fm, see how fast we can get rid of this. Like, I will just send it to you. Like, I'll hit the reset button on it and send it over to you, because I don't use it anymore, and my Canary needs a home. But I didn't mind using the product. Like, it worked really well every single time I went to it. And I saw some of this stuff when it went on. Like, would you rather them take some of these features away and say, okay, this is how we have to figure out how we're going to stay alive? Or at the top of the show, we talked about Lighthouse. Like, the other option is, like, these companies go out of business. Like, they have to figure out how to.
And then you have nobody to sue.
Right. Exactly. You still
and
have
your
a
product doesn't work.
Exactly. I don't know.
Crazy.
I'm with you, Jason. This is absolutely asinine. Well, anyway, let's move on. Peak TV update. Let's see. There is no end in sight for the so-called peak TV surge in scripted originals, according to the research provided by FX Networks. FX on Thursday released its annual study on the state of scripted television, revealing that the number of originals like Game of Thrones, Narcos and Pose. I don't know what that is. Is that like?
Yeah, I'm not sure that third one. I know the other two, obviously.
Yeah. Hit a record of 495 originals in 2018. Wow. As expected, online services like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and the new rival of Apple led the charge, representing a 32% increase of all originals, up from 25 last year, and topping both basic cable and broadcast TV for the first time since FX began tracking growth in 2014. Man, I got to say, I'm loving the originals. Patriot, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Patriot.
You're still on Patriot. I love it.
God, it's so good.
I want to check out Narcos. I know that one's. My wife and I just reactivated Netflix, so we hadn't had it for a while. But as you know, we cut the cord recently, and so we added Netflix. And I got to say that app's come a long ways. I mean, I wasn't shocked because I follow the space pretty closely, but man, the amount of scripted originals and original content in general on there is pretty staggering to me. And so we're really enjoying it. We're getting into Ozark right now. Not sure if you've watched that one.
Yep, I've seen it. I think it's kind of puttered out for me on the second or third season that we're in, but it's a good show. I really enjoyed the first season or first 1.5 seasons or so.
Is there multiple seasons of that? We're on season 1. I
think
sure
so. The first season's definitely good. So yeah, Jason Bateman,
Yep.
I think he's directing some of those. He does a really good job, and I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. It's a character-driven kind of like crime thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
really
great
good.
show. Great. Yeah. Season 1 at least. Like I said, we haven't gotten to season 2 or 3 yet.
I've still heard good things. I just think it kind of like puttered it. Like it's
as
one
they
of those
often
where,
do. It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, how far can you take it?
You get into, well, I'm going to say this and then recommend Patriot, but like you get into like so many situations where like he's never going to get out of this, and it's like, yeah, he probably will because he's the main character of the show, and
because I'm watching season 2 and there's still a whole nother season and a half or whatever. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's still a good show, and there's some surprising things that do happen in it that you just don't see coming. But I will put a stamp on that. Ozark, really good one.
Cool.
But definitely, if you like Ozark, Jason, you'll like Patriot. So go check that out. On Amazon.
Right, you're very bullish on Patriot, so we'll have to add that to the queue. I think I would like it. Watching the trailer, I'm not sure if my wife would be into it. That's the only challenge.
Yeah, dark comedy.
So,
It's a dark comedy.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's it for our news this week. We do not have a guest lined up. All of the links and topics that we've discussed here can be found on our show notes at HomeTech.fm/238. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for our weekly newsletter on the right-hand side of the website there. We'll send you weekly show reminders and occasional updates about all of the wonderful things going on here in the world of home tech. Once again, that link is HomeTech.fm/238.
You can also join us in the chat room live each Wednesday, maybe, starting 7 to 7:30, somewhere around there, Eastern. Find out more at HomeTech.fm/live, and you can watch our Twitter at HomeTech Podcast. Usually I will tweet out, a little thing that says, we're going live. If you want to catch the show live and kind of interact with us in the chat room, you can do it there.
Yeah, absolutely. Seth, we're going to skip the mailbag this week, although, there was some...
There were a couple of emails about
some residual, I guess a gentleman catching up on the backlog and reminding you in case you've forgotten that the Alexa buzzer was not a popular choice.
Yeah, well, it isn't, and I fully agree with him at this point. Like and I think some of that may have been my editing.
On.
Yeah, my editing. Like I may have left some of those a little loud in there. I think it was really good for shock therapy on the live, but I don't think it translated well to the podcast portion.
So, if anyone else is listening and didn't like that, we're done with it. I think you know that by now.
2018, into the bell. We're done. Yeah. There we go.
We do, however, have a couple of gems here for pick of the week. And this first one is, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around this one, Seth. This comes from hiddenwires.co.uk, so a UK site. Financier sues architect over, quote, ugly floating cinema. And there's a glorious picture of this thing that looks like a giant, glass box, like frosted glass, though. Like you can't see through it.
I don't know. It's ugly. I'll give him that. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to disagree with it.
Are there any
ugly.
pictures of the... I'm just curious what's on the inside. I don't think there's any pictures of what's on the inside. But Mr. Freeborn was supposedly inspired by the architect's vision and authorized a, quote, sleek modernist cube to house a home cinema built in the roof space of his pool room. You got to go look at this thing. It's amazing.
It's he's not too happy with the results. He doesn't say too much about the performance. So I really don't know what a glass theater sounds like inside, Jason. I'm hoping that there's some kind of sound treatment in there and it's not just a glass box with speakers inside of it, but you never know. You never know.
This story is definitely missing pictures of the inside. I am very curious. But
if anybody has pictures of the inside of this theater, please send them to us. We want to see these because I don't know. This showed up in the hub maybe a week or two ago. I'm not sure. But man, it's I forgot who posted it at this point. I didn't write it down in our show notes, but this thing, we talked about this and made a couple of jokes about it. Quite a bit. Like one of my favorite ones was thinking about where the speakers are installed and maybe they, cuts holes in glass to put the speakers in. Man, this is so ugly. So ugly. The quote here is that kind of
Philip Freeborn, senior financier. Let's see, suing for damages $1 million in the High Court for a floating home cinema. Philip Freeborn, head of global banking at Tory Global, claims the project on his £7 million pound home. £7 million home went wrong, badly wrong, leaving an expensive white elephant, quote unquote, that only demolition and a complete rebuild can fix. Holy cow!
I'm not going to argue that point. I'm not going to argue any of. I don't think it's fixable, Jason. I've seen a lot of work in my time, and this is.
How did it get this far though? Without,
I don't know.
Like, I mean, if he couldn't be on site, did nobody sent him a picture or something, or a drawing, like a concept, or I don't know. That baffles my mind.
What's baffling is it's got like an A-frame pitched roof, and then like the theater, like there's holes cut in the drywall for the theater glass to fit into the roof space because it's too wide for the room. Is that what it looks like to you? That's what it kind of looks like to me. Is like they cut holes for it to fit.
Yeah,
into this space.
Up at the top.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
there's so many questions that are over this, and I really hope this lawsuit goes forward, and we get some. I don't know if like it's here in the U.S. where you can read things, from court stenographers and that kind of thing. We have to know more. If you know anything about this, let us know.
We've got good listenership in the UK, and if somebody can run this down, we'd appreciate it. Last thing here, the quote architectural jewel end quote was designed and built by architect Daniel Markall, who argues that at every stage of the project, this was approved by the couple from design to creation, arguing that he followed the brief while working on an quote ad hoc basis. So this is a weird one. There's got to be more to the story, but it is a gem. Definitely go check out that picture once again. It'll be at HomeTech.fm/238.
Yep. And so a gem, but here's a better pick of the week for you. Richard Gunther, a friend of the show, he was on the Fireside Chat last week, came out with this a couple weeks ago, and man, we haven't had time to plug it on the show yet, so I want to plug this thing. He has figured out a way, a very ingenious way of using Lutron Pico remotes with HomeKit, and I've got to say, it's pretty smart. So what he's done is kind of a thing that I used to use in Lutron all the time, and I think other lighting systems have this concept of having fake keypads that you can kind of put into a system, and you can program buttons on those fake keypads to trigger scenes and whatnot, and from another control system. This kind of flips that on its head and goes the other way around, where you put in some fake products maybe inside of your Lutron setup. I think what they used is a dimmer, like a dimmer module. And what they do is what he's doing is he's setting that up to go to a particular level. So say if the device is like 10%, this is what I'm reading out of it. If I'm wrong, let me know. But what it looks like he's doing, he's saying if it goes to 10%, then you're going to trigger this particular scene or something based on that button. So basically, you're taking the 5 buttons that are on the Pico and basically mapping them over to percentage values. It looks like. He says you can't do this in the HomeKit app, like the native HomeKit app. You'll have to have something better. He recommends the Elgato one, which is, I think this is speaks to what HomeKit can do. They give you a pretty basic app that is decent, but if you want to take command and to go in deeper, you can use other apps that expose more of the API. And Elgato evidently has scenes and rules that have these advanced things in them. So he's got a really good walkthrough. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. But man, I think this is really slick. You can actually use Lutron Pico remotes to trigger event scenes, whatever you want through HomeKit, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, this is. I'm just kind of skimming through the article as you were talking there, and definitely a in-depth guide. He's got a lot of pictures and visuals walking you through how to do this, and definitely agree. He starts the article out explaining that Pico is one of the greatest sort of unsung products in the smart home, and I agree. It's a very inexpensive device. They're sturdy, they're well built, the battery lasts a long time, they're very flexible in terms of how you can install them, and easy to use, right? So you can put these around your house, and you don't have to really know your way around a smart home in order to learn how to use these. They work very much like a light switch, only you've got a few more buttons, so 4, maybe 6-button keypad. Great way to get them working with HomeKit. I think they work on their Clear Connect protocol is how they work by default. He talks about how Staples Connect Hub, way back when that was still around, did work natively with them, but not a lot of other products do. And so if you want to get this, if you've got a HomeKit home and you want a great way to add some physical control, definitely go check out this article. We'll have a link to it in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely. So if you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, or great ideas for a show, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form.
And as we always do here at the close of the show, Seth, we want to give a big thank you to everybody who supports the HomeTech podcast, but especially those of you who are able to financially support our efforts through our Patreon page. If you are not familiar with Patreon, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support, where you can learn how you can support our efforts here for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month will give you a big shout out on air, but every single pledge, even at $1, will give you an invite to our private Slack channel, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day for the inside baseball conversations about all aspects of home technology. So great community there, and we'd love to have you.
Yep. And if you want to support our show but can't support financially, we definitely appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. Anything you can do to help promote the show, tell your friends and family when you're over for the holiday this year. You just tell them, hey, if you're at HomeTech, because it's a cool podcast and it has really two really cool guys on it, right?
That's right.
And one told me to watch Patriot, and I really like it.
He's got great taste in TV shows.
Right, yeah. right, yeah.
So. Cool. Well, what are you got big plans for Christmas, Seth?
No, not. I mean, it's the first Christmas where I think my daughter is kind of like almost grasping what's going on. So I'm excited about
fun.
that. Yeah, 2 years old. She has been saying ho ho every time she sees Santa. So she knows that's a thing. She knows like what he does. It seems that she may be getting a blah blah, which is her word for bicycle, which. Santa's got to bring a blah blah now.
Yeah, so, it works. You start to learn to interpret.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a different language that's being spoken in this house.
Oh yeah, I frequently, my wife is with the kids all day, and I frequently have to be like, babe, I need you to come over here and translate. Oh, he's asking for his water bottle. Oh, yeah. Duh. Like, why did I know that?
It sounded just like alligator. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't know. Like, so, yeah, I have that problem too. Just kind of sit there and stare at her until she points into the right direction. I can figure out what she wants.
Eventually, you figure it out.
Yep.
Cool. Well, enjoy that. Yeah, I know that. My kids are 4 and 2, and I get it. Really fun time of year for them, and they're really looking forward to it. So. We'll have a great time, and definitely want to thank everybody for listening. And by the way, quick plug, if you didn't tune in last week, be sure you do. It was a great show. We had our annual Fireside Special with Mike Wolf and Richard Gunther, and we had Rose Thibodeau on for the first time. She's got a great YouTube channel called It's Rose, where she does really, really good smart home product reviews. If you haven't checked that out, definitely go take a look. And she joined us for the first time this year on our Fireside Chat. Again, that was last week. So go check that out. That'd be HomeTech.fm/237.
Yep. Had a good time. Good time recording that show, and even more fun time editing. Because
editing, I'm sure.
5 people is tough. 5 people.
You did a good job.
It gets into the realm of head scratching. And, yeah.
Ice cream headaches.
Well, yeah, ice cream headaches. Yeah, exactly. Well, is it beer headaches? Can I have those? I guess I can.
All right, cool, Seth. Well, great time chatting with you tonight, and we'll look forward to reconnecting again soon.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you. If I don't talk to you next week, Jason, I'll see you next year.
All right. Sounds good. Take care, Seth.